Hello and welcome to Business Incorporated. I am Bosin Omofaye. Let's get the show started. Britain today unveils new regulations to protect users from what it calls harmful social media content. And here on the Africa's continent, South Africa's power crisis may worsen as Eskom is expected to lose more than a quarter of its current generating capacity over the next decade. Meantime, Uganda's $20 billion oil and gas sector investment may come sooner than expected. So what are the details? As always, let's get started with the markets. It looks like a feel-good Monday here on the major markets, where trending higher intraday across the major bourses. The Nigerian Stock Exchange All-Share Index was posting 0.21% gain. That market is losing that ground very fast as we speak after lunchtime here in Lagos. The Egyptian Stock Exchange, the Case 30, is trending higher 0.21%, and the South African GSE 0.14%. In Kenya, last Friday was a soft landing of about 0.04%. Look at the Middle East, where the big stories around the Middle East Investment Conference, which Nigeria's president is attending. The markets, they are looking really good as we speak. With the Dubai Financial Markets Index, that's where the conference is actually taking place. The Dubai FMI is about 0.45% in the green territory. The Abu Dhabi Index is also up about 0.6%, and the Qatar Index a higher 0.34%. The Saudi's Tadawul market about 0.17% lower, sidestepping other exchanges within the GCC. Let's cross over to Europe, where we're having a midday transactions right now. Stocks slightly lower. That was early today. Investors prepared for what is expected to be a tough U.S. earnings season. Let's talk to Annette Westbach, who is live to us now at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. She's our DWTV correspondent live there to us. Annette, it's good to see you. Welcome back from the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to have you. So let's start with this. BMW says it's making provisioning for a possible EU emission charge, and that is knocking automakers' shares early today. How is the broader European market taking this emission scandal crisis of the automakers in its stride?
Well, of course, it's a problem for the car makers, and BMW has always claimed not to be responsible for any collusion in the European market. But now, with them setting aside €1 billion in the first quarter for potential penalties coming from the European Union, from the antitrust authorities there, that is actually a big sign that also other car makers could be affected. Daimler apparently has whistleblower status, according to analysts, because they provided the authorities with information back in 2014, and Volkswagen did the same a little bit later in 2016. As the second whistleblower, you are eligible for a discount of 50% of the penalty. But to give you a sort of an idea of how big a penalty could be from the European antitrust authorities, it could be up to 10% of your last year's annual revenue, and that's of course a waste amount of money for every car maker here on the ground.
Okay. So apart from these BMW and automakers emission scandal crisis, what else is pulling the European markets to the downside right now, Annette?
Yeah, you have to see that also in perspective. Last week was a very good week. The DAX added almost or more than 4%. That was the best week since late 2016. So a lot of gains, and it's already quite a high, pricey level for equities. So today, people are a bit more cautious. Today, they're again looking more on the risk side of things. The the US-China trade deal is still lingering around, and nobody knows whether the progress is really reliable. We hear various kind of interpretations out of these talks, so that is a big threat for the world economy, and with that also for the equity market. And at the same time we have Brexit still not being resolved. Theresa May coming to Berlin tomorrow and also meeting Emmanuel Macron in Paris tomorrow. It is far away from being a done deal that the European Union will grant the extension to what Theresa May wants. So this is still also a serious risk here for the equity markets, and that's why probably people take a bit of a step back, but that in combination with the high valuations, one should say.
Okay, so before you go, if we look at Germany, which is Europe's largest economy, and there are reports that perhaps Germany could be heading towards a recession, given the latest slew of economic data looking a little bit weak for this very economic giant within the European Union and the Eurozone. Where is Germany heading right now under Angela Merkel?
It's an interesting question because a lot depends on how China is going to develop and how the world economy is going to be evolving from here. Germany, as our investment banker like to say, is a high beta play on the world trade environment, meaning it's extremely dependent on how the world economy is going. And of course, with all these protectionist measures gradually in place, we do feel the pain a lot more than other countries here in Germany. So the recent export data were like a lot weaker than expected, and it also shows that many corporates apparently are holding back from investing because they don't know what the future will hold. And nobody is going to order a big machinery item for a lot of money if there will not be enough demand for new products. So that's the kind of the catch-21 Germany is currently in. And the sooner the trade spat between the US and China is resolved, the better the German economy is actually going to be.
Very interesting there. But let's keep an eye with you, Annette, as you keep an eye for us on the German economy and the broader Europe and the global economic space out there in the markets. Thank you very much, Annette, and see you once more in the near future here on the program.